I wasn't there, but when I saw the images, some that you all had taken in the Alligator, it reminded me of what happened in the Capitol building in Washington. It just was not a look that I thought was what we should have as a university. The one thing I'm most proud of for the university, and this is not what the president does, but I had the privilege of being here when it occurred, and that is every one of our 16 colleges is now stronger. Its stature has increased than it was in 2014, 8 years ago. When I was actually interviewing, I had done my research on the university and really felt that we really could move above many other universities that had always been ranked higher than ours. So I said in the interview process, and then I said in my inauguration in 2015, that our goal is going to be, will be thought of universally as one of the nation's top 5 public research universities. And I thought it was the right aspiration that would galvanize alumni, because it makes, frankly, their degrees more valuable. If we as an institution are more prominent, our stature is thought of nationally, internationally as one of the best research universities, and those that could provide us resources, donors, elected officials, and other, and we were right about that. I'm pleased how we dealt with, in the context of all our constraints, COVID. We benefit by the fact that we have an incredible UF health system. Very few universities have hospitals that they own that are on their main campus. So we took advantage of that, created the Test and Protect program, but we had the most robust reporting in the whole nation. And I'm pleased that we were able to keep functioning again. We were probably one of the most aggressive in coming back in person. And given all the constraints over which we had no control, I'm pleased with respect to how our students and staff and faculty were vaccinated, even though we didn't force them to be, how they wore masks when we urgently asked them to do that, even though it was, again, voluntary. And by and far, the instances of it being very serious were really, truly minimal. That probably was the most emotional, difficult situation. We had 2,000, can you imagine? 2,000 law enforcement officers here on campus, wearing all kinds of things. We had drones flying over. It was scary. Nobody here invited him. Nobody, as far as I know, wanted him. No group invited him. But we allow outside groups to rent our space, and we're by law required. If we allow any entity to rent space, we have to allow all entities to rent space, including white supremacists. So we had first denied him that opportunity to come, but you can't do that forever. It was a very emotional time for all of us, and I felt it was important that we send a message that we're going to keep our campus safe, even though he has this federal right to speak. The one issue that we've dealt with was we have a process for outside activities, which are not part of teaching, not part of research of our faculty. They're activities that employees, staff and faculty are engaged in that's not part of university business, but it's related to the university business. For all of that activity, you have to file a conflict of interest report, and you have to disclose it, and then it either has to be approved or not approved. The provost and I learned through the press that faculty had been denied their conflict of interest requests for outside activities, denied their outside activities for serving as expert witnesses in litigation in which the state of Florida was a party. Then it was reported in the press. That same week, I think it was Saturday, and then by Friday we had reversed the decision, the provost and I. But I think more importantly, we then set up a process that was in the month of November to revise the conflict of interest so it doesn't go to the press first, it comes to us. So every denial now actually goes through a process where there are other faculty that give input, and then the final decision is the provost. So he can't go to the press before the provost signs off on that denial. It's the most robust process now for approvals or denials any university in the nation. So we've taken something that was negative and made it a positive. In terms of the senator himself, I didn't know who Ben Sasse was before this process. I'm just not familiar with all the senators. But I did meet with him for 3 hours when he was here for his town halls. I had a private meeting with him and talked. I was immensely impressed with him. For me, it's half communication and half working to bring resources. I think he'll be phenomenally good at that. He has skills that almost no other president would have around communicating in big public settings, communicating and inspiring people. And secondly, I believe he'll be really good at bringing resources from donors, from foundations, from the federal government, and from the state. And so those two primary roles of a president, I believe he'll be phenomenally successful. I also believe he'll set aside his politics, and I would suggest we should do the same.
A major criticism from members of the UF community is specifically his stance on LGBTQ plus rights, specifically legalizing gay marriage. And for some people, that's not politics. That's an attack on their identity. How do you see his ability to bridge that gap for people?
No, I think that's a fair issue to discuss. I've not queried him on it, but I think it's fundamental. Will he? Given he has this voting record, he has this view about gay marriage, will he still welcome, embrace, support, encourage, want to grow the LGBTQ community? Will he meet with them? There's a President's Council, LGBTQ Council. Will he engage with that? Those are the right questions, I think. And those members of the community that are afraid, and I think he has to address that. Yeah.
Do you personally have confidence in his ability to do that?
I do. I really do. I do believe he will.